Hey everyone, my name is Minibiskit, and today we'll be looking at the Assault battleframe in the FireFall beta. FireFall just underwent a big milestone patch at the beginning of August, so I kind of wanted to look at all the battleframes, but the only one I really had a chance to look at so far was the Engineer, and that's the one I played before the milestone. It had some problems. It was kind of in a defensive niche, and now it's more of a skirmisher class. I thoroughly enjoyed the Engineer. I recommend you play it. If you like skirmisher or defensive strategies, that's your go-to battleframe. The Assault, on the other hand, I have played through most of the Tier 1 battleframe. It is a lot of fun, very mobile. I think Red 5 did a really good job with that. It isn't perfect, but I don't think it's completely done either. Some abilities like Shockwave just aren't working properly. The graphic clearly shows that the Shockwave should flower at the end and have this huge AoE, and it just doesn't. Shockwave just is a very narrow beam of effect, and I think it only affects like 2 enemies. I don't think I've ever affected more than 2 enemies with Shockwave. So that being said, let's go ahead and start the video. Okay, so I am solo thumping. I have picked my spot. I kind of dropped my thumper in a canyon, and then I went out scouting for the first few seconds of the thumper. While the thumper was thumping, attracting bugs, I was out bursting egg sacs to attract more bugs. Basically, the more bugs I have here, the more I can AoE, the more experience I get. And I think throughout this single thumper, I get around 3k XP, which is pretty good. On my Engineer, I only averaged about 2,500, I think. I might have maxed out there. So the Assault is very nice for AoE because their gun has a their primary weapon has a nice AoE effect to it. So you really don't need much more AoE than that. Now, if you are trying to conserve ammo, you could use craters, but you do need to be careful with them because whenever you use crater, if you have an initial velocity, a lateral velocity, like moving forward or backward, left or right, you'll maintain that velocity for the duration of the crater. So I'll point it out later in the video here. It's pretty much just AoE anything on the thumper, and there I dropped a crater. That was a pretty decent crater. I think I hit 4 mobs for about 900 each. So let's see, the little bugs can be taken out pretty easily with the primary weapon, I find. The larger bugs, I hit them 3 times with the multi-shot, and then I switched to my SMG, and I basically unload an entire clip in their face. And that's because I hit them 3 times with a multi-shot, and more often than not, they will dodge immediately, making it hard to hit them again with a multi-shot. So I switched to the SMG, which has an extremely high rate of fire, and I unload an entire clip in their face. They're usually dead by then, and that's for the larger bugs. There you saw Afterburner. It's just a nice speed boost. I wouldn't PvE without it because it adds tons of mobility. I would compare it to like the level of the dodge roll in Guild Wars 2. It's that important for the Assault. So here I kind of focus fire on these explosive bugs, even though they are kind of derpy at the moment. And then I help this other guy, I think it's an Assault. I help him take down that big bug. I looked at the status of my thumper, and it is at 40% completion, and only about 46% health left. That's about standard. It might seem like I'm in a bad or precarious situation, but I'm really not. That's pretty standard for soloing. You're gonna get larger waves at the beginning. Your thumper's gonna take some damage. Don't sweat it, because the mobs will die down. You'll stop getting waves unless something terrible has happened. Unless something terrible happens and somebody trains like, I don't know, 100 mobs at your thumper, then it's time to worry. But yeah, that was a failed crater. Don't do craters or anything on top of the on top of the thumper. There's kind of like an invisible umbrella field above it, evidently. So crater doesn't work so well on mobs right next to the thumper. Stick to the primary weapon. Use a triple shot SMG combo. And thumper's almost done, 75%. It's looking pretty good at 29% health. I wouldn't really want to call it back unless it was like at 15% health and only like 60% completion. Then you know you're in trouble. So I did start with the assault rifle on this guy. I think everyone starts with assault rifle, if I'm not mistaken. But I find that the SMG just fits better because it has a higher rate of fire, and I don't need to keep my reticle on the mob as long. I just unload that clip on them and move along. It works best for twitchy mobs, kind of like the ones that fly around and it's hard to keep the reticle on them or whatever. So the SMG is actually firing faster. And there's a pretty decent crater. Probably not as good as it should have been. I probably should have fired it off a little early. Again, keeping in mind that that forward trajectory that you maintain during the crater. And so now I'm just AoEing the place down. My thumper's already out. I received another one in my inventory, and I can drop it as soon as I clear this area. Here comes another crater. That one was pretty successful. I think I hit 3 mobs with it. It doesn't one-shot these guys unless you land like the center of the crater. If it lands on the mob's head, then you'll do something like 1200 damage, and I'm pretty sure that'll one-shot them. But other than that, it'll do 400 for reasonably close to the center, and it dies off after that. It does like 200 or less if you're a little further. But anyway, that was a look at the Assault battleframe. Very fun. I have heard speculation that the drop-off in power and mobility and just overall fun from tier 1 to tier 2 is pretty big. It's pretty steep, so you're going to feel a lot less powerful once you pick up your tier 2 battleframe, but I mean, the end result is that once you do level up your tier 2, you are considerably stronger than your tier 1. So it is progression. You may or may not like it. I like it. I like the way it's set up. It's pretty addictive. I guess they did a good job of that. So anyway, I hope you liked the Assault as much as I did. Hit me up with any questions you have. This has been Minibiskit. See you guys.